We share. Oh, take a ride with me.
Hi, I am Ambassador Rikwense Muri. I hail from Osa local government of Taraba State, northeast of Nigeria. In 2002, I became a convert to my own church, the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And the fire in me, I felt the calling of God upon my life. Even though while in science school, Nasarawa, my ambition was to become a medical doctor, engineer, or any of the science students. But after that conversion in 2002, I became interested in taking the gospel to my people, especially to my people in Taraba State as a new Seventh-day Adventist convert. So by 2003, when I finished, all my ambition was to be a missionary, to be a pastor. So I decided to apply Babcock University, whether I could be allowed to study theology on self-sponsorship. So it was a really, it wasn't something that I didn't know what I was doing then, but I saw that it was ambitious journey because I got the admission, even the money to buy the form for Babcock. I have to go and look for that money from someone, and the money to come for the interview and all the process. To cut the long story short, when I got the admission, I couldn't even raise the non-refundable fee that Babcock University were asking, and I prayed over it, and God raised helpers left and center, and I came to Babcock University as a student. And while as a student in Babcock University, I spent my years working. During the holidays, I would always travel to Ghana to go and work so that I could raise my school fees. So that was what I did in Ghana for 4 years while I was in school. So I was doing work, I was studying. I didn't have time for my family. And because even at home, my father and my mother were wondering whether I was in school truly or whether I've been intoxicated by this church that I've become a member. So I didn't mind them. I always tell them I'm in school. I will come and show them my ID card during the short break, that's the Christmas break. I always go home. But the long break during the summer, I always travel out of the country to go and work and look for money. And by God's grace, I completed my university. I went for NYSC in Kebbi State. And NYSC, the National Youth Service Corps. So I serve, because it's a compulsory program in Nigeria that after your university, you have to serve the country voluntarily. So I was posted to Kebbi State as a youth corps member, and I serve at the Army Day Secondary School, that at the 1 Battalion Duku Barracks in Kebbi, Birnin Kebbi. As a corper, I was a volunteer pastor I started a church in Birnin Kebbi. In fact, I bought the land while I was serving. Within the 1 year, we were able to organize the youth corps members that were Seventh-day Adventists, and were able to raise funds to purchase the land. I was the corper pastor at the same time. So I signed the document for the purchase of the land in Birnin Kebbi, where we have our Seventh-day Adventist church in Birnin Kebbi up till now. So after my NYSC, I got a call from my conference to come and serve as a pastor. So I did my pastoral ministry from 2009 to 2018. So I spent 10 years in ministry as a full-time pastor. In 2018, I took the decision to further my education in political science. You'll be wondering why, with all this background and ministry, I decided to leave full-time ministry to come and do my PhD in political science, and also to come and get involved in politics. So today I want to share with you why you should get interested in political affairs of your community, of your country, of your society. You see, what actually drew me into politics is as a result of my background. Actually, I forgot to tell you that I'm a child of circumstances, because I'm a miracle child. I used to see myself as a miracle child, and I see myself that every step of my life, God has a plan for me, and I must not miss any step of that plan. So at every stage, I'm contented with what God is using me to do at that particular stage. And when God closed that door, I keep moving to the next agenda that God has for my life. It will interest you to know that while I was still in the womb of my mom, there was discussion on whether I should be aborted or not. You need to know about that because my elder sister was just 3 months when my mom took in for me, and the doctors were like, my mom should choose between the child that she can see and the child that she cannot see. So my mom was like, both the child that I can see and the child I cannot see, both are from God. So I cannot choose between two human beings. They are my children. If God will keep them alive, I'll be happy. But if God will take one, let it be the decision of God. But me, I will not abort this child in my womb. And by the way, I just have one child, and it's my daughter. What if I abort this and I don't get another child again? So that was the argument of my mom, and I was left to grow in the womb. I wasn't aborted. And to make the thing more interesting, I was born premature. In 7 months, I was given birth to. So my elder sister senior me with just 11 months. So imagine that. So that was why my elder sister was quickly separated from my mom when I was given birth to, so that she could not suffer the consequence of my birth. So I grew up under that circumstance in the village, and my education was very low. That is why I have to struggle from one school to the other in the primary section of my life. I was in primary 5 at the Central Primary School, and I didn't know anything. In fact, I could not do the spell, the alphabet. I don't know the ABCD. I didn't know them, and it was manifested in primary 5 when I took the last position. And everybody in those days, the position that everybody know will be the last position, because everybody will escort you back home. They will take you home and show your parents' house how dumb you are. So when it was my turn, it was a really embarrassing situation. So my dad decided to do something worse. What did he do? My dad repeated me in the same school. You don't normally repeat is when your mates are going forward, you just stay in the same class. But my case was worse. My dad took me from primary 5 down to primary 3 in the same school. Those my juniors, I was in the same class, and it will shock you, I didn't even come first in primary 3. Some of them in primary 3 were even more intelligent than I was. So it was like psychologically it wasn't encouraging at all. So my dad had to move me from the school entirely to another school in Takum. That's the Kwekashibu nursery and primary school. That was where I started picking up. And my uncle came and heard about my story, about how this young boy is not making it in school. So he took me to Boko. And from Boko, I came back to complete my primary school in Takum. So you can see how my life has been like, you will make it, you will not make it. So while I was pastoring, I decided as I was pastoring from one church to another, in the Seventh-day Adventist church, you'll be posted from one place to another. So I began to see that the problem of my people is mostly political. The decisions people take, the political decision people take affect their life, even sometimes worse than the spiritual decision they take. It's affecting them because the leaders they enthrone end up hurting the people. And sometimes you want to preach about the gospel, you don't know when you start attacking the political leaders for what they're doing, just like what Jesus was doing during his days when he faced the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the scribes who were misleading the people. And so I faced that situation. So I became interested in politics. I became interested in telling people why they should give attention to political development in their community. So in 2011, that's 2 years after when I joined the ministry, I began to start writing about why people should vote well, why people should vote certain people. So the social media, by then Facebook has already come, so I was privileged to start uploading my views on politics and why people should get involved and get and promote good governance. So because of that, I decided to because of the crisis. Another thing was that crises were taking place in most of the places I was posted to. As a pastor, you will be in a place and you will see people fighting each other. I was in Jos, I was in Bauchi, I was in Jalingo, I was in Shandam. All these places were crisis area, and it affected the development of those people. And the politicians were actually part and parcel of those crises. So you see, I decided that okay, I have my first degree in theology, so I can read Hebrew, I can read Greek, I can tell of the church history, and I can interpret portions of the Bible so that people can get to know God better. But I didn't know how to manage crisis, so I decided to get involved. I decided to enroll to do my master's in peace and conflict studies, which is in political science department in the Open University. So I was working and I was schooling, and by 2013 I completed that master's, and it enhanced my ministry, and it also gave me more interest in political affairs. So I was always involved in politics. 2015 election, even some of my members have to call me and say, Pastor, why are you so interested in politics? I say, I don't know. I'm just interested in politics. I believe that politics is just part of human being to see that your autonomy as a citizen should not be abused by you playing a major role in deciding who rule over you, because who rule over you can determine a lot of things about your life. And after my convocation, I decided that why can't you go and do political science fully for your PhD? It was a tough decision. And another thing, what will people say? Some will say, oh, he has left the ministry. Some will say that he... So I decided to seek advice from some of my senior pastors who saw that God has put in a gift to encourage people politically. So they encouraged me, and I came to Babcock University to do my PhD in political science, specializing in peace and conflict studies. So while in school, I enhanced my knowledge on how to write. So I began to write about crises, about conflicts, about leadership, about the role of the citizens, so I was writing, and these things were gaining ground in the society. So I now said, okay, and also while I was in Babcock, while I started my PhD, I'm no longer a full-time minister. I was doing it part-time. Babcock actually hired me to be a part-time minister. I wasn't on salary. I was doing it voluntarily. So I had the freedom to look for a source of income from other places, and I decided to use that period to develop my political relationship. So I got into politics, and I got involved in, oh, I like this person, oh, I don't like this person. Because politics actually will teach you how relationship between God and the devil actually exists. It's politics, because you cannot progress spiritually if you are caught choosing between God and the devil. You don't want to choose any of them. You actually don't care who wins the battle, the spiritual battle. You will not progress spiritually. So the same thing in politics. You cannot progress in politics if you don't decide that this person is good and he needs my support, or this person, I don't think he is capable for the position he's vying for. If you don't take that decision, you will discover that you mentally become a slave, because you won't be able to take responsibility of what is happening in your society. So I learned that very quickly. So I started taking decisions. During every election, 2015 election, I was taking side. Oh, I like this person. 2019, I also took side. And even when I'm wrong, I will still apologize and say, no, I trusted this guy, but I didn't know that he cannot perform. So you switch. Many people wonder why people switch in politics, but it's normal. You have to take decision every day, because your life every day, whether you take decision or not, you have taken decision. So I got interested in politics. And in my interest in politics, the senator representing my federal constituency, that is the senatorial district of Taraba South, distinguished Senator Emmanuel Bwacha, after reading some of my writing, he now saw some potentials in me. He saw some love in me for political development of my people. And he also realized that I am also a pastor. So he decided to call me, and I visited him, and he was like, you want to just see the face of the Muri that writes so much and get involved in politics in a way that most of the young people have not approached politics the way I've been approaching it through my writing. So I got to know the senator, and he engaged me that why not come close to him so that I can learn the practical aspect of the politics. Because the senator, since 1999, he was a House of Assembly member, and in 2003, in fact in 2000, the governor took him from the House of Assembly and made him a commissioner of agriculture, where he was so much influenced that by 2003 he became the commissioner. He became the member of House of Rep. From the commissioner, he became a member of House of Rep. From member House of Rep, he became a senator in 2011, and he has been a senator since 2011. So I see in this humble man experience and capacity from the state government, from the federal government, and also from his own failures, because he actually started by contesting as a chairman of a local government in 1992, and he lost that election. So I can see that the man has lost, he has won, and so I can learn the practical politics. So I came to him, and I realized that a lot of people are making mistakes when they don't get involved in the political development of their community. As I walk around with this man, as I follow his convoy, as I sit in his house, as I interact with people that come around, I see that there are a lot of opportunities that getting involved in politics can help the good citizen in our society. What are the opportunities? Everybody in this country is looking for people they can trust to be in politics. If you don't join, people will join, and you will be punished for leaving the political arena for people that are inferior to you to rule over you. That's the punishment of a good citizen that refuses to get interested in politics. You will complain, he doesn't have certificate, he is a fraudster, he is this and that. Yet, the court is exonerating because the Constitution does not prioritize certificate for the politician. They say, oh, he must have been educated to a certain level, then he can participate in politics. While the guys who say, our mumu don't do, our this and that. If you don't join politics, protests cannot. No country in the world has ever been built by protest. Countries are built by citizen involvement in their government. And the only way you can participate in the development of your society is to participate in the political aspect of your society. Let me share some things with you. I've said that what triggered my interest in politics is the poverty I see, is the lack of empowerment among my own people. My own people were not having their own share in the political distribution of resources. So when I came and met and started working with the distinguished senator, I began to tell him some of the aspects about my people that he need to do something, and he began to listen to me. He saw the sincerity in me, that I wasn't with him to enrich myself or to get to look for position for myself, but I wanted to add value to his leadership. So you see that politicians value people that are bringing value to their own political leadership. If you are a liability, you will easily be discarded. If you are an asset, the asset may be maybe you are a thug, or maybe you are a very smart, intelligent person they can use, or maybe you are a community leader that can speak and people will listen. So these are assets for the politician. So you choose where you become an asset. So me, I became an asset as a political analyst and commentator. So my comments on politics used to trigger comments from all over the state. So my boss, my principal actually enjoyed that. So I have been able to see. In fact, I was shocked for the first time that my communities, my church, the church I was born in, that is in my village, the church have been having these yearly programs that they meet together, and politicians don't give attention to those programs much until during the year for election. So I was shocked that this year my boss, when we were discussing about the program to my boss, I was like, oh, this program is good. We need to support these churches. We need to encourage them. Even when Muslims are gathered, we need to support them. We need to encourage them, because politics is all about the people. Wherever there are people, whether it is traditional, whether it's religious, we need to show them love. And I tell you, for the first time, I saw money given to me to support this gathering, to buy food for the people that gather to worship God, to fuel their cars, and also to help them fuel their generator for the program. And they were excited, and I saw the joy in their face when they saw the money. I was like, wow. So you can put smile on the face of people. I saw when my principal was distributing things like vehicles, distributing motorcycles, distributing rice to people during Christmas. I saw the excitement on the face of people when they come to pick their own portion. Like, yeah, politics can actually bring some relief to people when the resources people at the grassroots are remembered during the distribution of the resources. And also, I saw people who normally wouldn't have make it in getting job, but the employment in the country have become a thing that politicians, everybody up there, being a House of Assembly member, being a senator, being a House of Rep, being a minister, everybody is asking for his own share to give to his own people. So if you don't have somebody you know up there, it becomes difficult for you to get. So participating in politics give you opportunity to demand that, what about my own people? What about? So I was so happy when someone called me and said, oh, Ambassador, thank you for standing up for me. My brother wouldn't have gotten this custom employment he just get now. And I was like, wow. So it worked. He said yes, because I pushed it and I asked for help, and it went through. Police, we got slot for police, we got slot for civil service for our people. Something that normally I couldn't do it as a pastor. I'll only pray, and you see high unemployment, and you also see that you can't do anything. And you see some people rejecting federal job to join politics. And you'll be like, are people rejecting job and people are looking for job? It's all about political connection. If your own is there, nothing is impossible in politics. All you need is to make sure that you encourage people to get interested in politics. How do they get interested in politics? It is by them registering to become a member of a political party. It's by them getting their voters card. It's by them becoming a member of a civil society. There are so many ways one can get involved. And because of my passion for politics, one day I was just sitting in my house. Someone called me and said, hey, congratulations, Muri, you are now an ambassador. I said, ambassador for what? He said, you have been appointed as the national director for Polling Unit Ambassador of Nigeria. These are the accredited organization that supervise election and also ensure that politicians carry out their promises for the people. So I was like, wow, that's such a great organization, being accredited by INEC and other international organizations to oversee the election, because having international election observers without our own local observers cannot enhance our politics. So the Polling Unit Ambassador of Nigeria become the accredited local observers, election observer by INEC. And I was appointed as the director for sponsorship and collaboration. So it became like, wow, when you enhance your skills and when you pursue your dream and when you take you take some decision to hold on to certain principle in the political arena, it will be recognized. So when I thought it was a joke, and I was invited to the office where I was giving my appointment letter. I was giving my certificate to officially answer the title of ambassador, and I also were sworn in by the Ambassador General. Even INEC witnessed our inauguration. The Vice President sent a representative to witness my inauguration as the National Director for Sponsorship and Collaboration. What am I trying to say? Right now, as a National Director, I have a fear in every state of Nigeria to put my mouth on how we can educate our citizens to get involved in the political development of our country. To get involved is when we're involved, and we're also working with INEC to ensure that the elections are free and fair, so that the youth can have hope that they can contest election and their capacity can bring them to political office. So you see, by me deciding to get involved and get attracted into politics, I can see that I have been able to achieve something that I wouldn't have achieved if I have stayed neutral, or if I've isolated myself that no, it doesn't concern me, I don't need to put my mouth in it, it is devilish, it is occult people that are doing it. It will not enhance the progress of even the work of God. When we leave the political arena, we are endangering the lives of people. Right now, as the world is going, we can see that the politicians are even in charge of your health. They are the one that decide whether you should take certain vaccine or not. It is not the medical people that are talking again. The politicians are the one deciding for your health. If you don't get involved, you cannot talk to them and they will listen to you. Some of the politicians get some money to promote certain drugs that they have not even tested, and you can't say anything. But if you have people of moral standard, you will see that the decision that these politicians will take will be at your own advantage every time, economically and politically. But if you don't have people that have conscience in the political arena, you will see that they can use you and dump you and use your vote and sell you and enslave you, and before you know, your society, instead of going forward, it will be going backward. Personally, there are also gains in the political arena, because in politics it's all about distribution of resources. I can tell you, let me tell you, I've been a pastor for 11 years, for 10 years, because full-time pastor for 10 years. But as a part-time pastor, I've been a part-time volunteer pastor for 2 years now. I've been in the political arena for 1 year. But I can tell you, within 1 year that I joined the politics, not that I requested for something, I've been able to see the changes in my life, how I've been able to help my family directly. Let me give you an example. I didn't have a piece of land for myself. In fact, as a missionary, as a pastor, I was wondering who would dash me maybe 100 by 50 to build my retirement home in the next 20 years. Because I can't envisage having the money to buy land, except maybe if there's a portion from my village, I can go back to the village and build. But I can tell you that within 1 year, when I told my boss that I don't have land and I see some land and I see him supporting me, I was shocked. I was shocked that within 1 year, I was able to get some piece of land for myself where I can build my little house to stay. I was like, so politics can enhance your personal resources. It can enhance your resources. I'm not shy about that, because it is part of it that when you get involved in politics, it affects you, even though your agenda is to help the society. As you are helping in promoting certain value, you see that you are indirectly helping yourself. But at the end of the day, even when they elect you, appoint you to certain positions, there are also some certain advantages that come from such position. My wife was like, how do you get the money? I said, I don't know. Because when the need arise for me to get a land, I see that the resources will come. People assist me. Because I don't ask for money. I don't ask for anything. So when I need help, everybody wants to help me. Because they see the sincerity in me that I really want to help people. So when you get into politics with the notion that I want to help the society progress, it will not retrogress your life. You also, as you are helping the society with your voice, with your knowledge, with your skill, you'll see that you'll be helping yourself also to progress. What am I trying to say finally? I'm trying to encourage you out there that until Jesus comes, the government of this world, God will give it to whoever He wish. And in the Old Testament, God gave it to whoever He wish. But in the age that we are, God give it to whoever the people wish. Through election. Even though God participate in deciding, or God have a foreknowledge of who will win, but God cannot force anybody on us to rule over us. So we need to get involved in politics. We need to synthesize our people. We need to go and get our voters card. We need to register. We need to get involved. We need to join civil society to promote good governance for our country, because we don't have any country that we can call our own outside the country that God has given to us. You can go other places, you may get a resident permit, but you will never be called the citizen of that country permanently, except you decide to renounce your root completely. So get involved in politics. It will even help your relationship with God. Because I tell you that in politics, you don't belong to two places. You will get loyalty is number one thing in politics. So when you come to religion also, loyalty to God is number one. If God is your God, you have to serve Him. If you don't want to serve God, you should go and serve other God completely. God do not want to share you with anyone. The same thing in politics. No politician would like to share his supporter with another one. Everybody wants complete loyalty. So the same thing, you learn that in the political arena. And I pray that God will help translate what I've said to the understanding of you out there that is listening, because the future of this country is in the hands of people that have the fear of God and have passion to see that we fix our country by ourselves. We can run to other people's country, but in those countries, people took decision to fix their country. There were war in those countries. There were destruction in those countries. But people stood up and say, no, I need to fix this country. And you see that today, the Europe that fought the World War I and II, they are back on their feet. They are progressing. Their GDP, their people are really living large. But what is our problem? We need to also come back and sit down together, look at our constitution, look at our own culture, and see how we can collaborate with other people from different faith, from different ethnicity, because it's God that brought us together in this country. And it's only when we put aside our differences that we can build this country and make it a great nation, using the platform of the political structure in our society. Thank you very much. God bless you. Once again, I am Ambassador Rikwense Muri. Thank you very much.